It starts quietly. A Ferrari owner walks through a luxury mall in Milan and freezes. There it is. The dancing horse. Not on carbon fiber, not behind velvet ropes, but slapped across a hoodie on a clearance rack, 2 floors down from a Zara. This is the moment something breaks. Ferrari wasn't supposed to be seen. It was supposed to be felt. A whisper among the wealthy. A signal you didn't explain. A knowing nod between strangers who never had to ask. For decades, owning Ferrari, anything Ferrari, meant access to history, to restraint, to a club that didn't advertise because it didn't have to. And now, the logo is everywhere. Fragrances in duty-free shops, sneakers in outlet malls, mobile games with microtransactions, Instagram drops that sell out in seconds, not because they're exclusive, but because they're available. Not rare, not sacred, just purchasable. Owners aren't angry because Ferrari makes bad products. They're furious because Ferrari changed the rules after they bought in. This isn't about cars anymore. This is about status erosion. About watching a luxury icon transform into a lifestyle brand while you're still holding the original keys. It's about betrayal. So today, we're ranking the 7 Ferrari non-car decisions that made loyal owners feel abandoned, from the worst dilution of the brand to the one move that might still save the myth. And trust me, number 1 isn't what you think. Number 7. Ferrari fragrances and lifestyle scents. Worst. There was a time when Ferrari scents felt aspirational, novelties tied to speed, passion, and fantasy. Limited releases that captured something. Even if that something was just the dream of what Ferrari represented. They weren't collectible, but they weren't embarrassing either. Then came the mass licensing. Suddenly, Ferrari fragrances appeared in every airport, every department store, every online discount bin during holiday sales, generic formulas, premium branding, zero innovation. The production, volumes exploded. The discounting became constant. Collector interest vanished completely. Ferrari went from intoxicating to air freshener adjacent. Its champagne poured into plastic cups. The scent of prestige, bottled and mass-produced until it smelled like nothing at all. Owners noticed. Because when your brand appears next to celebrity perfumes in a mall kiosk, the exclusivity isn't just diluted, it's gone. If scent cheapened the mystique, the next category made it wearable for everyone. Number 6. Ferrari fast fashion apparel. Wearing Ferrari once signaled proximity to the brand, not fandom. A subtle polo, a racing jacket with genuine provenance, items that suggested you'd actually been to Maranello, not just walked past it in a magazine. It was insider code. The decline trigger, logo-first streetwear, seasonal drops that prioritized visibility over craftsmanship, oversupply that turned exclusivity into accessibility. Fast fashion thinking applied to a luxury badge. Walk into any outlet mall today and you'll find it. Racks of Ferrari hoodies, graphic tees, baseball caps, all marked down 40%, sometimes 60%. Online discounts, rapid trend cycling, the dancing horse printed on polyester. Owners stopped wearing the logo to avoid looking like tourists. Because when Ferrari apparel becomes indistinguishable from sports merchandise, the signal changes. You're no longer saying, "I belong to this world." You're saying, "I bought this at the mall." It's a family crest printed on hoodies and sold by the thousands. The hierarchy collapsed. The insider vanished. And what replaced it was just branding. But clothes are optional. You can choose not to wear them. The next betrayal entered people's homes. 5. Ferrari furniture and home decor. Ferrari furniture promised something powerful. Ultra-luxury living tied to Italian design heritage. The pitch was seductive. Why shouldn't the aesthetic that defined supercar interiors translate to your home? Why shouldn't the same obsession with form and function create heirloom pieces? The problem? Branding became louder than craftsmanship. Ferrari home collections prioritized logo visibility over timeless design, style over substance, recognizability over restraint. The result? Pieces that looked like showroom props, not heirlooms. The resale market tells the story: minimal demand, weak credibility in serious design circles, rapid depreciation. Ferrari decor felt like set dressing for people who wanted to look like they belonged. It's a supercar engine powering a couch. Impressive in theory, absurd in execution. Because luxury furniture isn't about branding. It's about craft, materials, legacy. It's about pieces your grandchildren fight over, not liquidate. Ferrari forgot that homes are intimate spaces. They're where status becomes personal, where public displays feel desperate. Owners wanted Ferrari to honor that intimacy. Instead, they got furniture that screamed. Physical objects are one thing, but digital exposure? That's worse. Number 4. Ferrari video games and digital licensing. Ferrari in video games used to mean something. The ultimate unlock, the rare achievement, the car you earned after hours of gameplay, skill progression, and dedication. It was digital scarcity, a virtual version of real-world exclusivity. Then Ferrari started over-licensing mobile games, casual racing apps, free-to-play titles with microtransaction shortcuts. The prancing horse became ubiquitous in digital spaces, available to anyone willing to download an app. Logo visibility replaced aspiration. Instant access replaced achievement. The psychological shift is profound when everyone can own a Ferrari virtually. Without effort, without context, without understanding, real ownership loses gravity. It's a crown turned into an emoji. Copy, paste, send, repeat. Digital dilution doesn't just affect perception, it rewires meaning. It trains millions of people to associate Ferrari with casual play rather than earned excellence. And for owners who invested in the real thing, it feels like watching your private club get franchised. The exclusivity you paid for, literal and symbolic, gets redistributed to anyone with a smartphone. Digital dilution hurts, but physical objects claiming history, that hurt more. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Ferrari didn't dilute the brand accidentally. They monetized the logo instead of protecting the myth. This wasn't drift. This wasn't creative experimentation that went too far. This was a strategic choice, one that prioritized revenue streams over brand integrity. Scarcity was replaced with scale, silence replaced with visibility, ownership replaced with access. The luxury playbook got rewritten. Maximize logo exposure, license aggressively, capture every possible customer at every possible price point. And for years, it worked financially. But culturally, the cost is only now becoming clear. If you're deep into this breakdown, pause for a second, because the final two prove Ferrari still knows exactly what it's doing. One represents the confusion at the heart of modern luxury. The other represents hope. 3. Ferrari collectibles and memorabilia race. Used artifacts once carried reverence. A steering wheel from a championship car. A mechanic's tool from the Scuderia garage. Items with provenance, with stories, with proof of their connection to motorsport history. Collectors pursued these pieces because they were bridges to something unrepeatable. Then came the flood of officially licensed replicas, mass-produced collectibles that claimed heritage without earning it. Items designed to look authentic while being manufactured by the thousands. The market fractured. Wide price gaps emerged between genuine artifacts and licensed reproductions. Collector skepticism intensified. Provenance became confused, contested, commercialized. History felt photocopied. its museum artifacts displayed next to souvenir stands, both claiming authenticity, one with a certificate, one with a story, and most buyers unable to tell the difference. The collectors who understood the distinction felt abandoned, because Ferrari wasn't just licensing products, it was licensing history itself. And when history becomes a product line, it stops being history. It becomes merchandise. By now, owners weren't just disappointed in specific product categories, they were questioning Ferrari's intent. Number 2. Ferrari watches. Ferrari watches should have been iconic. Precision engineering, motorsport heritage, Italian design meeting Swiss craftsmanship. The category alignment was perfect, but the execution was confused. Too many tiers, entry-level, mid-range, luxury, limited editions, each diluting the message of the others. Fashion partnerships that prioritized visibility over horological credibility. Designs that looked more like accessories than instruments. The secondary market reveals the verdict. Weak resale values, limited collector respect, minimal presence in serious watch communities. Owners chose real watchmakers instead, because when you can afford a Ferrari watch or a Rolex, Patek Philippe, or Audemars Piguet, brands with centuries of watchmaking heritage, the choice becomes obvious. Ferrari watches weren't competing with fashion brands. They were competing with institutions, and they lost. It's a racing engine powering a desk clock, technically impressive, contextually confused, ultimately unconvincing. The tragedy isn't that Ferrari watches are bad. Many are well-made, attractive, functional. The tragedy is that they're unnecessary. Ferrari had no watchmaking legacy to honor, no horological innovation to contribute. They entered a crowded market with branding instead of credibility, and owners saw through it. But then there's the one Ferrari move that still earns trust. The one category where restraint, reverence, and expertise converge. 1. Ferrari Classiche and Heritage Services. Best Survivor. This is where Ferrari remembers what it is. Ferrari Classiche isn't about selling new products, it's about preserving old ones. Authentication services, restoration guidance, historical certification, expert maintenance for vintage models. It's Ferrari acting as curator, not retailer. The emotional impact is profound. Owners feel protected, not exploited. Their investments, financial and emotional, are validated by the very brand that created them. This is restraint as strategy. The Ferrari Classiche proves that luxury still works when it's about meaning rather than volume. When the brand positions itself as guardian of its own history rather than exploiter of its own logo. Collectors trust Classiche because it serves them, not the bottom line. It exists to maintain standards, preserve authenticity, and ensure that Ferrari heritage remains heritage, not merchandise. It's a library in a noisy mall, quiet, authoritative, indifferent to trends. While everything else about Ferrari expanded, commercialized, and diluted, Classiche held the line. It said, "Not everything is for sale. Not everything should scale. Some things remain sacred." And the owners noticed, because in a world where the prancing horse appears on clearance hoodies and mobile games, Classiche represents what Ferrari could be across all categories, if it chose restraint over reach. It's proof that the institutional knowledge still exists, the expertise remains. The understanding of what made Ferrari special in the first place hasn't been completely lost. Classiche is the one category where Ferrari still protects the myth. And that's why it earned the top spot. This ranking reveals something bigger than Ferrari. Luxury isn't collapsing because products got worse. It's collapsing because meaning got louder than scarcity. When every symbol becomes accessible, status stops signaling. When logos travel faster than legacy, trust erodes. When expansion replaces reverence, communities fracture. Ferrari owners aren't angry because the brand expanded into new categories. They're furious because expansion became the only strategy. Growth without guardrails, reach without restraint. They bought into a myth and watched that myth get franchised. But here's what gives me hope. The future of luxury is already correcting itself. Quiet design over loud branding, limited production over market saturation, heritage over hype. The brands that survive the next decade won't be the loudest. They won't be the most accessible. They won't be the ones on every clearance rack and mobile game. They'll be the ones brave enough to say no again, to reject licensing deals that compromise identity, to protect scarcity even when scale is profitable, to choose long-term legacy over short-term revenue. Ferrari still has the tools to reclaim that position. The classic proves that institutional knowledge exists. The heritage is real. The expertise is intact, but only if Ferrari remembers this: a logo is powerful only when it's protected. A brand is luxury only when it's scarce. Status signals only when it's earned. Everything else is just merchandise. The owners understand this. The question is, does Ferrari? If you want more breakdowns like this, where luxury myths meet uncomfortable reality, where we examine how prestige actually works and why it fails, subscribe now. Because this conversation isn't over, and the collapse has only just begun. This is Lux Crisis.